The South China Sea, it sounds like a peaceful, sun-drenched paradise, right? Think again, this body of water is at the heart of a massive geopolitical tug-of-war. We're talking trillions of dollars in trade, untapped resources, and enough military hardware floating around to make even the most battle-hardened admiral nervous. This isn't just some regional squabble over fishing rights. This is about who controls one of the most strategically important waterways on the planet. China claims it's theirs, all theirs, based on some vague historical claims. But their neighbors, not to mention the good old US of A, see things a little differently. Get ready to dive into a world of artificial islands, warships playing chicken, and enough diplomatic jargon to make your head spin. This is the South China Sea dispute, folks, and it's about to get real. Okay, so why all the fuss over a patch of ocean? Why is everyone so interested in this seemingly endless expanse of blue? It's all about what lies beneath and the power it projects. Beneath the waves, there's a treasure trove of resources waiting to be tapped. We're talking massive oil and natural gas reserves, enough to make even the greediest oil baron blush. These reserves could fuel economies and power nations for decades. Then there's the fishing stocks, a vital source of food and income for millions. The South China Sea is one of the world's most productive fishing grounds, providing livelihoods for countless communities. But it's not just about the money, folks. It's about sustenance, survival, and the way of life for many coastal populations. Control of the South China Sea means control over vital shipping lanes. These lanes are the arteries of global trade, connecting economies and facilitating commerce. Think of it like the world's busiest highway with trillions of dollars in goods passing through each year. From electronics to clothing, from raw materials to finished products, everything moves through these waters. Whoever controls this maritime superhighway has a big say in global trade. They can influence the flow of goods, set terms, and even impose blockades if necessary. And let's not forget the military implications. The South China Sea is a strategic military hotspot, a place where naval power can be projected far and wide. We're talking about projecting power, controlling access, and basically being the big fish in a very big pond. Naval dominance here means a significant advantage in any regional conflict. China knows this, and they've been busy building up their military presence in the region. From constructing artificial islands to deploying advanced naval assets, they're making their intentions clear. The geopolitical stakes are high, with multiple nations vying for influence and control. Diplomatic tensions run deep, and the world watches closely as the drama unfolds in these contested waters. Beyond the human interests, the South China Sea is also a rich and diverse ecosystem, home to countless species of marine life. Protecting this natural heritage is just as important as any economic or strategic interest. So, the next time you hear about the South China Sea, remember, it's more than just water. It's a complex tapestry of resources, trade, power, and life itself. Picture this, the South China Sea. It stretches from Singapore to Taiwan, bordered by some of the world's most dynamic economies. It's not just some random patch of ocean, it's a vital artery for global trade, connecting the Pacific and Indian Oceans. Think about all the stuff we rely on every day: smartphones, clothes, electronics. A huge chunk of that stuff travels through the South China Sea. It's like the Amazon Prime of shipping routes, but with more warships. And as if the economic importance wasn't enough, the South China Sea is also home to crucial undersea internet cables. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. And with so much at stake, it's no wonder everyone wants a piece of the action. Now let's talk about China's role in all of this. China has been making significant moves in the South China Sea, a region rich in resources and strategic importance. Their actions have not gone unnoticed by the international community. They've been busy, to say the least. Over the past few years, China has undertaken massive construction projects on various islands and reefs in the South China Sea. These projects are not just about expanding territory, they are about asserting dominance in a highly contested area. We're talking dredging sand, pouring concrete, and basically building their own little islands in the middle of the South China Sea. These artificial islands are feats of engineering, transforming once uninhabitable reefs into bustling hubs of activity. And it's not just for the Instagram likes. These islands serve a much more strategic purpose. They are equipped with state-of-the-art military installations, making them formidable outposts in the region. These artificial islands are equipped with military bases, airstrips, the works. From radar installations to missile systems, China has fortified these islands to project power far beyond their shores. It's all part of what China calls their nine-line claim, a vague, historical claim to pretty much the entire South China Sea. This claim is based on old maps and historical records, but it lacks clear legal standing under international law. The problem is, nobody else recognizes this claim. Countries like Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei have their own claims in the South China Sea, leading to a complex web of territorial disputes. It's like claiming you own the entire Pacific Ocean because your great-great-great-grandfather once went for a swim in it. The international community finds China's claims to be exaggerated and lacking in legal merit. China's actions have raised eyebrows, to say the least. The aggressive expansion and militarization of these islands have led to heightened tensions in the region. Neighboring countries are understandably nervous, and the U.S. has been sending warships through the region to assert what they call freedom of navigation. These patrols are meant to challenge China's expansive claims and ensure that international waters remain open to all. It's a tense situation, and things could escalate quickly. Diplomatic efforts continue, but the risk of a military confrontation remains ever present. The world watches closely, hoping for a peaceful resolution to this complex and volatile issue. Section 5. Pushback and Partnerships, a Regional Response. China's neighbors haven't exactly been sitting back and watching the show. They've been pushing back, diplomatically and militarily. Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, they've all got skin in the game and they're not afraid to stand up to their giant neighbor. We're talking joint naval exercises, diplomatic protests, and even taking China to court. Remember that whole nine-line thing? Well, the Philippines took China to international court over it and won. The court ruled that China's claim had no legal basis. Did China listen? Not so much. And then there's the US. They've been a vocal critic of China's actions, sending warships and planes through the region to challenge China's claims. They call it freedom of navigation. China calls it provocative. You be the judge. Section 6. Beyond Boundaries, Global Implications of a Regional Dispute. This isn't just some regional squabble, folks. What happens in the South China Sea matters to all of us. Remember those vital shipping lanes? Imagine if China decided to flex its muscles and cut off access. The global economy would grind to a halt. And then there's the whole issue of international law. If China can just ignore a ruling from the highest court in the land, what's to stop other countries from doing the same? It sets a dangerous precedent. The South China Sea dispute is a test case for the international order. Can we resolve disputes peacefully through diplomacy and the rule of law, or are we headed for a new era of great power competition and conflict? The stakes couldn't be higher. Section 7. The experts take insights from Dr. Michael Barr. To really understand the complexity of this situation, we need to turn to the experts. Dr. Michael Barr, a leading scholar of maritime security and international law, puts it bluntly. The South China Sea is a microcosm of the broader geopolitical competition between China and the United States. The stakes are high, and the potential for miscalculation is significant. Dr. Barr's words are a stark reminder that this is not just about rocks and reefs. It's about fundamental principles of international law, freedom of navigation, and the balance of power in the Asia-Pacific region. His insights highlight the urgency for all parties involved to find a peaceful and sustainable solution to the South China Sea dispute. The alternative, as Dr. Barr suggests, is a dangerous escalation with potentially catastrophic consequences for the entire world. Dr. Barr elaborates on the historical context, explaining how the South China Sea has long been a flashpoint for regional tensions. He points out that the roots of the conflict can be traced back to colonial times, where overlapping claims were often left unresolved. Over the decades, these unresolved issues have only grown more complex, with modern geopolitical interests adding layers of tension. Dr. Barr emphasizes that the military presence in the region is not just a show of force, but a strategic maneuver to assert dominance. Other experts agree, noting that the buildup of naval forces by multiple countries increases the risk of accidental confrontations. Despite these tensions, Dr. Barr remains hopeful that diplomacy can prevail. He advocates for continued dialogue and confidence-building measures to reduce the risk of conflict. According to Dr. Barr, the key to resolving the South China Sea dispute lies in mutual respect and adherence to international law. By focusing on cooperation and shared interests, the nations involved can turn a potential flashpoint into an opportunity for collaboration and growth. Dr. Barr's insights remind us that while the challenges are significant, the potential for a peaceful resolution is within reach if all parties commit to working together. Section 8. Charting a course through troubled waters. So, what's the solution to this whole South China Sea mess? If only there was an easy answer. It's a complex situation with no quick fixes, but one thing's for sure. We need more dialogue, not more warships. Countries need to sit down, talk it out, and find a way to share the resources of the South China Sea peacefully and sustainably. And they need to respect international law, not just when it's convenient, but all the time. It's a tall order, but the alternative, a conflict in one of the world's most important waterways, is simply unthinkable. Section 9. Your stake in the South China Sea. You might be thinking, this is all well and good, John, but what can I do about it? Well, you can start by getting informed. Read up on the issue, follow reputable news sources, and educate yourself about the complexities of the South China Sea dispute. Share what you've learned with your friends and family, contact your elected officials, and let them know that you care about this issue. Support organizations working to promote peace and diplomacy in the region. Every voice matters. By raising awareness and supporting peaceful solutions, we can all play a part in ensuring that the South China Sea remains a sea of opportunity, not a sea of conflict.